Started stopping there without meaning to. 3rd Street overpass right above the buses. Same railing cold against my sleeves. Same shoes scraping concrete dust. Below me taxis kept changing lanes. Headlights sliding across the guardrails. Someone dropped a cup near the stairs. It rolled in circles for a while. You'd think a place like that gets old fast, but every night looks slightly different. One window flickered in the distance, then disappeared before I found it again. Didn't really have somewhere to be, just kept standing there longer than planned. Counting cars from the overpass again, watching people leave without seeing them. Wind pushing softly through my hair. Phone battery almost dead in my pocket. A train passed underneath too fast. The whole bridge shaking for a second. I stayed after everything got quiet, like the noise was still there somehow. Someone walked past carrying flowers, looked expensive, already falling apart. 2 kids ran down the empty stairs, laughing hard at something I missed. The light above the crossing blinked uneven, made everybody pause half a second longer. I kept tracing shapes between buildings with my sleeve covering half my hand. There's a spot near the middle railing where the paint started peeling away. I think I touched the same place nightly, just to check if it feels different. Nothing waiting for me at home yet. So I watched another bus leave town, counting cars from the overpass again, watching people leave without seeing them. Wind pushing softly through my hair. Phone battery almost dead in my pocket. A train passed underneath too fast. The whole bridge shaking for a second. I stayed after everything got quiet, like the noise was still there somehow. Shoes tapping slowly behind me. Someone stopping then walking again. City humming under the concrete. Everything moving except this moment. Counting cars from the overpass again. Same skyline sitting past the river. Morning almost touching the buildings. Air getting colder on my hands. Another train cut through the silence. Metal echo hanging underneath me. Didn't notice how late it got until the street lights started turning off. Sat near the far end of the bench again, where the metal bends a little inward. Traffic lights changing through the trees, green reflecting across the sidewalk. Someone crossed overhead in heavy shoes, slow enough to hear each step clearly. Dust falling lightly from the beams, landing near my sleeves. A bike went past above me fast. The sound dragged out across the concrete, then disappeared somewhere near the river without fully fading out. Didn't check the time once, just watched the road breathe for a while. Under the overpass again, hearing footsteps I'll never recognize. Everybody moving somewhere else, while the bench keeps holding still. Wind came through and buses passed, cold for only half a second. I stayed there after it got quieter, like something else was about to happen. Someone stopped halfway down the stairs, stood there longer than I expected, then turned around without looking down. Their shadow leaving first. The light above the vending machine kept blinking every couple minutes, moss circling near the plastic cover, hitting it softly over and over. I traced lines through the condensation on the side of my drink cup. Cars kept sliding Standing underneath the bridge, red lights stretching across the road. Nothing really pulled me home yet, so I let another train pass by. Under the overpass again, hearing footsteps I'll never recognize. Everybody moving somewhere else, while the bench keeps holding still. Wind came through and buses passed, cold for only half a second. I stayed there after it got quieter, like something else was about to happen. Shopping bags scraping pavement slowly, someone laughing near the crosswalk, engine humming at the red light and fading underneath the rain pipes. Under the overpass again, same bench under the yellow lights, the city moving above my head without asking where I'm going. Footsteps echo through the concrete, then disappear into the traffic. I looked up every single time, even when nobody stopped there. The screen switched rose, then went blank. Couple people left without talking. One guy folded up a paper map, then disappeared across the street. I stayed near the empty bus lane, hands inside my hoodie pockets. Advertisement lights across the glass, flickering over the sidewalk cracks. Crosswalk button clicking quietly, even when nobody else was waiting. A taxi slowed beside the curb. I shook my head before it stopped. Didn't feel like getting home fast. The road felt better, stretched out longer. Missed the last bus anyway, so I started walking with the signal. Stores locking up one after another. Chairs flipped upside down behind windows. Shoelaces tapping against the pavement. Cold air sitting inside my sleeves. Nothing planned after this moment, still kept following the street forward. Past a convenience store glowing white, too bright compared to everything else. Someone laughing near the freezer doors, then silence after they left again. My earphone wire caught my jacket every few blocks for no reason. Cars move slow through yellow lights, like nobody wanted the night ending yet. There's a road near the river bend where the lane lines almost disappear. I walk closer to the middle there, with no traffic coming either way. Phone almost dying in my pocket, still didn't check the time once. Missed the last bus anyway, so I started walking with the signal. Stores locking up one after another. Chairs flipped upside down behind windows. Shoelaces tapping against the pavement. Cold air sitting inside my sleeves. Nothing planned after this moment, still kept following the street forward. Hood strings moving in the wind, distant siren somewhere uphill. Vending machine humming softly next to a closed flower shop. Missed the last bus anyway, street lights carrying me block to block. The city quieter than usual, but never fully silent either. Traffic lights changing with nobody there. Buildings dark except a few windows. I kept walking past my turn home just to stay outside longer. The gate beside the parking lot never really closes all the way. I slipped through without thinking much, hands cold against the metal frame. Bleachers creaking under slow steps, dust sitting thick along the corners. One paper cup rolled down 2 rows, then stopped beside my shoe. The field lights stayed completely dark, only the street behind the fence moved. Headlights cutting through the netting. half a second at a time. I sat near the highest row just to hear the city farther away. Empty bleachers after midnight, wind pulling softly through the fences. Scoreboard black above the field, numbers gone before I got here. Somewhere past the parking lot, a train kept passing every hour. I stayed longer than I meant to, watching shadows move across the dirt. There's a loose step near the middle aisle. It echoes louder than the others. I kept avoiding it on purpose, then stepped there anyway. A plastic bag caught near the railing, moving every time the air shifted. The baseball net kept shaking lightly, though nobody else was there. From the top row I could still see the gas station down the avenue. Someone leaned against the freezer doors, blue light covering half their face. Nothing really waiting for me yet, so I listened to the silence changing. Empty bleachers after midnight, wind pulling softly through the fences. Scoreboard black above the field, numbers gone before I got here. Somewhere past the parking lot, a train kept passing every hour. I stayed longer than I meant to, watching shadows move across the dirt. Shoe marks pressed into the infield, old tape stuck under the benches, traffic humming behind the trees, steady like it never stopped once. Empty bleachers after midnight, cold metal underneath my hands. One light left across the lot, flickering near the vending machines. Cars moving far beyond the fences, small enough to barely notice. I looked out across the field until the air started changing color.